Oh my god. We're
Yeah.
live.
Oh, I'm glad. Yay, we're live. Yay.
It's a mess. I do have a bit of
Oh,
coffee, and I just want to be honest. This is a bit of coffee from last night, and I heated up this morning. I don't like to waste.
hey, no shame, no shame, no shame. I mean, I'm not a coffee person. I drink a lot of tea, and I don't think I've ever like warmed up tea from the previous night. But hey, do you? I
I
ain't no
know.
judgment. Do you,
I
boo?
usually throw it out, but I'm like, this is my gourmet coffee Arabica organic from Amazon. Like, because I remember the struggle. Like when I was in
Yeah.
Georgia,
Uh huh.
I told you that time I called you, and we are
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I'm
Uh
just
huh.
talking, but
Yeah.
that time I called you,
Uh huh.
like I've been budget, like I know budget and how to,
Mm-hmm.
survive on your own. It's like I don't take things for granted. It's
Yeah.
like there'd be times if I didn't have that, it's like, oh, I would heat up last night. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh,
So
I feel you gotta do what you gotta do. Like I get it completely.
I know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but anyway, welcome to Chai Together. We are back, everyone. And Jay and I are kind of matching. So kind of hot here though. But Jay is a really good friend of mine, like actual friend. Like we talk shit and stuff.
Word. Yes. Yes.
But yeah. So on this platform, we showcase courage, hope, and imagination. And I am your host, Pratipa Day, and this is Mr. Jay Reace, also known on Instagram as Finding Jay Reace. Tell me about that, because I wondered about that.
So there was a time where I actually was going to change that, but everyone asked me about it so much. I was like, let me keep it because clearly there's something. So
the conversation starter.
Exactly. So like a lot of people, when you come up with social media handles, you're like, oh, what can define me, right? And I am in a constant search of trying to figure out who I am because every day I am in a search to learn new information, new material, and change my thought process. Like I don't want to ever think like I thought yesterday. So in that thought process, I came up with a title like I'm always trying to find myself. I'm always trying to find Jay Reace. So Finding Jay Reace. Plus, it's always nice like when people are looking for me, Finding Jay Reace. So it's just.
But you know when I went to look for you, I'm like Jay Reace. It doesn't come. I'm like, oh, Finding Jay Reace. Yeah. Like it's like I'm actually finding you. Like I'm looking for you.
Right?
I'm like,
exactly.
What is this long name though? Oh my god.
Well, it's funny because like there's a lot of people like Reese can be spelled multiple different ways. E-E's, like E-A, like I spell it.
Right.
And I'm noticing that like when people try to spell my name or they try to book me for different things, they end up spelling it wrong. So a lot of times I just tell people like Finding Jay Reace. And then that help, even if they spell it wrong, it still comes up that way. So, yeah.
I love it. I love the vibes. And now I'm going to tell the viewers about your very short bio, which I'm thankful for. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste, my friend. You're welcome.
You know we're friends when this is the vibe. That's how you know somebody's friend is on their show.
Oh, most definitely.
Jay Reace is a published author, and I have to say, I have your book. Oh, crap. Why don't I have it next to me? I'm going to go get it right now.
I'm leaving the show now. I can't believe this. What? Unacceptable.
So I got Jay's book. Well, you got my mug somewhere over there.
I do, everyone. And if you haven't reached out to Pratika to get her mug, this is what my wife always tries to steal your mug. She always does because like it's one of those lovely mugs, and I'm trying to make it so everyone can see. I have my lights on, but yeah, it's a lovely mug. I love this mug. I only use it on very special occasions, but it's sitting right here, so it always makes me smile. Like I have other mugs here as well, but it always makes me smile.
Show them how you showed me. You show them. Show the smiley one. You know the smiley one. So I was ordering edible arrangements, and I believe they had the mug, like maybe a little bit bigger, the smiley one with like flowers or like a setup. But it definitely, I've seen that. Yeah. But I like the kale. Yeah, I'm vegan.
Yeah. So if everyone doesn't know, I am a vegan, and this is one of my favorite mugs. Kale. Yeah, I'm vegan. Because I also love kale, which I don't know. I think that's a prerequisite to be vegan. Like you end up liking kale.
Really?
So it's weird. Like it's funny enough. Like I didn't like kale before I was vegan, but once I became vegan, I've tried all these different ways of eating kale. Yeah. It's one of my favorite things to eat kale.
Oh my god!
And then I have this lovely mug that just says "create."
Yeah.
It always reminds me to be creative and to do outside the thinking kind of box. And as Pratipa was saying, here's my smiley face mug, which this mug actually has a story that I didn't share with you.
Oh.
So so this mug I found at a thrift store a couple years ago. But the thing, I was in it was a really big, huge thrift store, And there was one that I found that was like this, but it was chipped on the inside,
Yeah.
and they wanted $20 for it. And I was like, well, it has a chip because like these are novelty, like these were out like in the 60s or 70s or something like that. But like, and it had the chip, and it was $20. I was like, no, I'm not paying for a mug for $20 and it's chipped. So I kept walking around the store, and I ended up running into this one, and this one was only $5, and it's perfect.
Oh my God. It's
So
like
it was,
a hug mug.
yeah, it was meant to be. And I love it. On very sad days, it always makes me happy. So yeah.
Oh, well, if you turn it around. Oh, wait. It's a sad face.
We got to turn it upside down and then everything's out of it. So yeah, when it's empty, yeah. But there's nothing on the back. Man. I wish there was something on the back, but it's all good. It's one of my favorites.
You paid something. So Mr. Travis Johnson was on. Hi, Travis, if he ever sees this. And he was showing me a hug mug, and literally you wrap your hands around. It was bigger than my Try Together mug, and it was hand painted. I was like, this gives me a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a hug mug, like you hold it in the wintertime with like on a bonfire or anything.
I like that. I
gotta show you it. Yeah, I gotta show you it. And it takes time to hand paint it, but it was great. And they hand painted his logo on the mug, you know? So yeah.
I love that. That's so cool.
I know. So do you let your wife use my mug or no?
I don't let her. She just takes it. Because first I have a very independent, loving, awesome wife, and she does what she wants to do. So every so often, like, she kind of knows. She knows, like, when I have stuff, like, displayed, she doesn't really touch it unless, like, she just can't find anything else or everything else is dirty. So then she comes and she steals my stuff. So yeah.
I think that's so sweet. I want to show everyone. Yeah, Miss Beverly, a hug mug. I'm gonna post about that. I'm gonna make a clip and post about the hug mug. I hope you're doing well, Miss Beverly. Yeah, you should follow her as well. She's a good group on healthy habits of eating. Miss Beverly, is that vegan? Can you let us know? Do you have vegan meals too? Because she's all about healthy eating.
I would hope so. Vegan's like the most healthy diet you can have. It is, like, for real.
You know, your book cover matches your shirt. Like, do you have your book on you? We could both hold it up. Oh, snap.
I know, right? Oh,
I love doing this.
Yes,
I love doing this. Legacy, a Scion book series. And you're working on your second one, or?
That's true. I'm working on the second one now. My release date has been pushed back a little bit. I'm hoping to have it out by December.
Yeah. I love it. I have to say that you definitely work hard, but you also, like we spoke before, like, you know when to let go and like rest. And I really just want to know about, what is it for? Is it because we talked about having those like lazy days, like bummy days, and then you get back to work? Is that what really gets you to like complete your tasks?
I think for me, absolutely.
Yeah, for you, right?
I had to learn how to be able to just relax. A lot of my life, like, I was raised, my mother was a drill instructor, my father was an army mechanic, so there was a lot of get up and go, 5 o'clock mornings, all that kind of stuff. So growing up, I learned, like, just go. And for me, that I didn't realize how much that was really burning me out. I ended up getting into the corporate world, and again, go, right? And it wasn't until I actually started pursuing my passions. And Ratiba, you know, I used to be an actor years ago.
Yeah.
So if you search long enough, you'll find Reace and all kind of. But anyway,
I want you to share that story too that you shared with me. Yeah,
I share a lot of stories, but I don't know which one.
Yeah, the one where you met the guy, you didn't get his number. He didn't get your number. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Steve Buscemi. But so I was talking, like, I used to have an acting coach, great mentor of mine, and a lot of times as an actor, you get told no a lot. And sometimes it could be for something that you really, really, truly want, or just life happens, right?
Yeah.
So he gave me this piece of advice. He was like, hey, regardless of what goes on in your life, give yourself one day to throw yourself a pity party, one day to watch movies, to binge watch, whatever you got to do, right?
Yeah.
And then the next day you hit the ground running and you hustle as hard as you can. So I took that and I was like, you know what? And now some days I don't do it all day, but like when I realized that I need to just take a moment and just, I'm so sad right now. I let it out, and then I hustle and I go back at it.
I know, because I called you. So I called Jay thanks for those who are tuning in. I called him and I was like, I have something going on. Like when I was in Atlanta, like I was in Pine Mountain at this time, not Atlanta, in Georgia. And I was sitting there and I was like, I feel like I need to just watch movies and just like, not do anything. And he basically let me know that whatever is going to help me through this time, because I wasn't like 100% like, oh, I'm upbeat. Like, no. And no one is. And if you say you are, it's like, who you lying to? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like, we do Chai Together. Jay has his own podcast. Tell them about your own podcast too.
I actually have two podcasts. One is called A Dose of Mr. Positivity. That is me. And it just I give you just little tips and tricks of how to be positive and let you know that it's okay, as Prativa is saying, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. Like it's okay to just have those moments. And then my other podcast is called The Black Phoenix. It is a show all about uplifting communities of color. We talk about having mental shifts, what's going on in entertainment and pop culture, finances, raising children, not having children, dating life. We even brought up some sex topics. So it's such a good show. I love it. My co-host, Trish Strong Talk, she's an amazing independent Caribbean Canadian woman. I can't even begin to speak enough truth about her. She's awesome, man. Wow. The show, so tune in. YouTube, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, it's everywhere. Wow. So yeah.
Wow. Where'd you find her? Were you guys already friends?
Funny enough, we weren't. So I joined a group on Facebook about how to find people for guests to be on your show.
Wow.
When it was just me on my show alone, right?
Yeah.
And me and her connected, and we were like, hey, we like each other's vibe, so let's be on each other's show.
Wow.
So I was on her show. We had such a great time talking about mental health and men and why men don't talk and all that lovely stuff. And then she came on my show, and we had the conversation about like dating, what men should do, what they shouldn't do, all that lovely stuff. And then
I want to know.
That might be a topic for another day. But me and her, we had a meeting about 2 or 3 months after we were on each other's show, and we were just like, hey, like we work really well together. And at the time we had like 2 other people who were on the show with us. They had to bow out for multiple different business and personal reasons, but me and her was just like, you know what, we have something here. There's something here. So we've been doing it ever since.
Wow, Miss Beverly's laughing. It is really funny. And I recently just watched a movie where 2 people come together, a woman and a man, and they're younger, like 20s, and they decide to do wedding planning together. But they're like, we're not going to fall in love. This is just business. They're not falling in love, sleeping together.
Right, of course.
Falls apart. Then they do their own businesses. Doesn't work out. They're like, I want to do my wedding. If you guys can't work together, I'm not going to hire you at all. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's how they ended up coming together, because they work really well together. So speak a little bit on that. Like, do you feel that when you do find someone who you work really well with, that there's like specific rules or like boundaries that shouldn't be crossed, and once it's crossed, it's like tainted, and then you have to move on? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. If I do believe that men and women can be platonic. I really do.
Yeah.
However, as you're saying, there has to be some type of ground rules. So my wife has access to my phone 24 hours a day. My wife knows my passcodes.
Yeah.
She knows everything.
Maybe I'm talking to her.
She might be in the sky. So anytime I have a conversation with anybody, particularly women of women, she knows about it. Like, and I don't bring it up like for random reason. I just bring it up because like I want her to be invested in my life just like I'm in her life. Yeah. And for me to do that, she has to know who I'm working with, the things we're going on, what we're talking about, all that lovely stuff. And like I don't share every little itty bitty detail, but at the same time, like she knows what's going on. And my speaking of Trish, Trish is single at the moment, but she has people in her life that I'm sure she does exactly the same thing. I know, like I usually go to bed pretty early. But my partner, Trish, she knows after 9 o'clock, you're not going to hear from me if I'm up or not. Just because that's dedicated to my family and particularly my wife, because we both work very busy jobs. We both have different schedules, and that's our time to be together. So there's certain things like that. And I'm honest with Trish. I'm trying to be as open as I can. I tell her about almost every aspect of my life. Trish kind of does the same. And because I'm a firm believer that if you truly are gonna, me and Trish's relationship for the show, for me, is almost like a marriage.
Wow,
so I have to be open with her, not like my wife, but it's very similar. You know? So that's kind of how I look at it. Even if Trish was a man, it would still be the same kind of way.
Like they would have to know about your life and everything to know like who you're really working with. You have to know someone. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. I want to go back to your book because we had mentioned it. Wow. So Legacy. Why that name?
Well, when I was coming up with the concept of the book, I wanted to see me and I wanted to see my family inside of the book. And one of the things I kept coming back to is like, what do I want this book to be? What do I want, no pun intended, my legacy to be? And that word just kept staying in my mind. And one day it was just like, you know what? This has to be the title of the book. It just has to be. Like, there's no ways around it. Now, looking back on it, I realized using one short word to have as a title isn't the best marketing idea unless you got like millions of dollars backing you. However, oh, thank you. Yes. My cover artists, they did an amazing job on it. I can't, big shout out to Deranged Doctor Designs. They did a phenomenal job. They actually did the inside part that Pratibha just showed. It is, I couldn't have been more happy.
I like the upside down.
Yeah, by far. I can't wait to see what they're going to come up with for the next book too. I can't give too much away, but yeah, definitely.
Oh no. So you're into fiction, right?
Yeah.
Where did that start? Like since you were a child?
Yeah, that was like since I was born. So like I used to be like I was born in 81 and I'm an 80s, 90s kid. I grew up on He-Man, Transformers, Darkwing Duck, Batman, Spider, like you name it. I love geek stuff. I used to read comics all the time. I don't do it so much now just because of adult life. But yeah, all that stuff, I just love it. And right now, my family, we all bond over the Marvel movies. That whole big franchise is just taken off. And again, I wanted something my kids could be proud of. I wanted something that we all could see ourselves in. Wow. And that book, if I could describe my book, is pretty much The Incredibles meets the Avengers with a lot more diversity.
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm not just talking about Black, white, Asian. I'm talking about in the first book, I didn't get to do it, but in the second book, I have characters that are in wheelchairs, and I'm talking about powerful royalty people in wheelchairs. I got some people who have like all kind of different, like, I don't want to get too much, but like, it's just diverse. It's a very diverse world that I'm building. Wow. And I just love it. And people are gravitating toward it, and I couldn't be more happy for it.
Wow. Well, thanks for sending it to me. I have yet to read it. So another book Jay had sent to me because of what I was telling you what I was going through. And as a friend, he genuinely sent me his copy of Chop Wood and Carry Water, correct?
Yes,
and
that's correct.
That's a great book as well. You guys should look into it. It's such a meaningful lesson. And after I read that chapter of that book, the next day something happened that aligned with the chapter. So reading is so brilliant for your mind and for your growth. And please just read, even if like a few pages, and you will see how it aligns like with the universe in your life. You agree, Jay?
Oh, absolutely. I find it that regardless of what I'm reading, I always find parallels in my life. Maybe because my pineal gland, my third eye, is open at that point and is noticing everything, or it's just the fact of the way the universe works. I don't know what it is, but every time I read something, I end up experiencing it shortly afterwards, like the next day, a couple hours, something like that.
Wow. And I don't remember that ever happening to me before. So I feel like it's really a gift if you are willing and you can give to someone, do give. Because after I'm done reading it, I know who I'm giving the book to. So it's like passing it forward to someone else. And it's really about, having a supportive community. And like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you want to, you don't have your own Facebook group at this time, right?
At the moment, I don't know. I'm slowly working on that. So to answer your question, like you already know, I'm a firm believer in passing it forward. From a very young age, I was very blessed to have people who just did things for me. I had, back when I was really big into church, I had to be like, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, something like that. And there was this gentleman. He would come pick me up, take me to church with him, and then after church, we would sit in his house and play chess all day, right? And the thing about it, though, the reason why it's such a fond memory is that guy devoted all his time, and he would just have these conversations with me, and just he would ask me questions. How's your day? What are you thinking? What's going on here? What's the, like? He would, like I said, like he would spend so much time investing, and he didn't have to do that, you know. And I've learned that's what you should do for anybody that you come in touch with, if you can. There was another time where this is, I wasn't at my best. I was a little kid, little punk, snot-nosed kid, and me and a friend of mine, we decided to go into a 7-Eleven and shoplift. We wanted some candy. We didn't have any money. We're like, it ain't gonna hurt nobody. Let's go and get some candy, right? So we go into the store and we start to reach for we get the candy and we start to put it in our pockets. And you get that feeling like somebody's watching you. We look up and there's this older black guy standing by the door. And the only thing he does is Pratiba, he just goes, me and my friend put those candy bars back so fast. But then the guy goes outside and me and my friend sees him waiting outside for us, right? So we're like, oh my God, he's going to call our parents. What is going on, man? Like, we can't stay in here forever. We got to go out, but what's going to happen? Maybe we can just run past him when we go out. But we didn't. We just went outside and the guy was like, hey, come here. He looked at us and he was like, hey, in this world, you never have to take anything that doesn't belong for you. Somehow, some way, things will always be provided for you when you need it. Always remember that. And then the guy gave us both $5 a piece and told us, now go get what you want and don't ever steal again. To this day, I've never tried to take anything that was not mine. You know what I'm saying? So it's just moments like that I have like 20 million of them, but it's just stuff like that always helps me remember to pass it forward and to teach people versus just trying to condemn them, judge them, and whatever else the case may be.
Wow. That was really wonderful. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I can't say credit. I mean, it's my story, but at the same time, like if that guy had, there's so many other ways that could have turned out. And you never saw him again. I don't know his name. At this point, like I'm 40 years old. I barely remember his face at this point. But it's just the fact of what he stood for. And like, it's just those moments like that. That guy didn't know how he shaped my life after that. He don't know what happens. But that moment of kindness was enough to send me on a different trajectory of where I could have been.
It's so emotional.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what the book, Chop Wood, Carry Water, it's like messages like this. So you guys should read that. And Jay's book, Legacy. Where can they get your book? Amazon, your website?
They can get it on Amazon. Currently, I'm working on my website just because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm trying to get things just right. And so right now, everyone can get it on Amazon. And
Jay Reace.
Yeah, Legacy is it's not intended to be a motivational book, but however, I tend to be a very positive, motivational person. So there are little snippets of motivation and inspirational things woven into the story. Mostly because I'm a firm believer that motivation, a lot of times people receive it better when it's a story or a parable. So that's kind of why I wrote the story that way. I
like that. Is there anything that inspired you? Because I feel like Chop Wood, Carry Water would inspire me to write it like a story. Wow.
Well, funny enough, like I had just finished Chop, Carry Wood about a week before you had called me and we had that conversation. So honestly, that book was still fresh in my mind, and I was like, "Yo, let me go ahead and send this to my friend."
Chop Wood, Carry Water. Did I say it wrong? Whatever.
Chop Wood, Carry Water. Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Yeah. Man, you know, there's like so much to you. You mentioned the acting. I want you to go back a bit and talk about, you know, your experience in acting and like, you know, your mental health struggles, because I know you've had many. So.
Yeah. And I think a lot of my mental health issues were all because I didn't know who I was. I was trying to figure out, I was trying to live up to everybody else's expectations. And when I wasn't happy and when I was trying to do that and be what everybody else needed me to be, I wasn't happy, you know? So when I first moved to New York, that was about, wow, 12, almost 20 years ago at this point. I went there to be an actor, but at the time I had two small kids. I had a newborn and I had a 4-year-old. I was happily married, and they like to eat. So we needed to bring money so we could put food on the table. And the funny thing about it, though, is that I still had this drive to be an actor, and I was trying to go out and act. But anyone who knows anything about acting, or at least a very little bit, a lot of times money just doesn't come in regularly, and sometimes even when it does come in, it's not enough. So I was just trying things over and over again, and it got to a point where I had to take a corporate gig. I burnt out there because, again, I was trying to be what everybody else needed or wanted me to be. So I got to a point where my boss, I was actually arguing with another coworker of mine, and my boss came up to both of us and was like, hey, I don't need both of you. Either work it out or one of you are going to get fired. That was a Friday. I drove home, and all I could think about was like, I'm going to get fired. What I'm going to do? I can't stand this. How am I going to keep my job? And the moment that I said that to myself, all I could think about, Pratibha, was, why am I fighting for something I don't want? Why do I care if she fires me? Like, why is this such a big deal? So luckily my wife was home, because at the time she worked a night shift job, and we were usually like 2 trains passing in the night. And I told her, I came out, I was crying. I was just so upset, and because I didn't realize how much weight was on me. And I was like, honey, I've thought about killing myself. I don't know how many different times. This job is weighing on me, and I'm a creative person. I work in an office with no windows. Like, it's killing me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So my wife, bless her, like, she was just like, hey, we're gonna figure it out. How about we figure a way where you can leave your job? I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. So I put in my resignation that following Monday, which took my boss completely by surprise. She was just like, you quit? No, you can't quit. You're the only one who didn't do this. You can't quit. I'm like, well, here's the paper. I'm quitting. So that's how I got into that position. And then I just started doing real self-exploration and figuring out what I wanted, what did I want to do, and how was that going to benefit me and my family. But before we go any further, let me go ahead and tell the story that I know Pratibha wants me to tell. So back when I was an actor, I used to do all kind of different background work and even some lead scenes. So I got the opportunity to be on Boardwalk Empire like 3 times, I think it was. And anyone who's ever seen that show, they know Steve Buscemi. I don't remember what his character's name was on the show, but Steve Buscemi was a pivotal character in that show. And he actually happens to be like one of my favorite actors. I think he's just so talented. And it's mostly because of this interaction that I'm about to tell you now. So we're all doing our scenes. So we get break. When we go on break, I end up going to the bathroom, right? When I come back to the bathroom, I can see Steve in the distance, but I have to walk past him and the people that he's talking to get back to where we're filming the scene. So as I walk toward him, I trip over some cables. I promise you, I didn't do it on purpose. I trip over cables and I bump right into Steve, knocking him over. I fall on the ground. All the people are like, oh my God, oh my God. They lift him up. Everyone's forgetting about me except for Steve. Steve was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, yes, sir. I'm good. I'm good. So Steve is just like, what's your name? I'm like, oh, my name's Reace. We start talking. I tell him about my family, my aspirations, everything that I want to do, right? And Steve's like, well, that sounds good. You're going to make it. Yo, keep up the drive. I promise you, you're going to get it. All right? Common conversation that a lot of actors, particularly famous actors, happen, right? I've met multiple different famous people, and the conversations are usually like that. You meet some bad ones every so often, but for the most part, they're usually nice conversations. Fast forward, I don't know, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months. I come back to do another scene on Boardwalk Empire, right? Steve is there. I walk past him thinking he's completely forgot about me because he's Steve Buscemi, right? Soon as he sees me, hey Jay, how's the family? How's the little one, right? He's like 3 months now, right? I'm like, Steve remembers me, yo. I mean, I played it cool. In my mind, I was like that. But I was like, he's good, Steve. He's good. Thanks. And I was catching him. I was asking him about his wife and stuff like that. So it was good. But yo, that one, I was like, Steve, remember? I mean, to this point now, I didn't get his number. We didn't exchange nothing like that. So at this point, I'm sure he's forgotten. That was like, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. But I'm sure he's forgotten about me.
I feel he remembers you.
Maybe. I don't know.
You need to go back.
I know, right? Definitely. Oh, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
but ever since that moment,
do you regret that or no?
What, running into Steve Buscemi? Of course not. That was like one of my best moments ever.
Not giving him the contact. But I feel you tripped for a reason, you know?
Oh yeah, of course. I think like everything happens for a reason. And honestly, me not giving him his number, my number, I don't regret doing that. Because I think it was meant to be
a genuine.
Yeah, it would have just happened organically. I feel like if I'd have pushed to give him my number, he probably would have forgotten about me, because by that point he would have realized, okay, he wants something from me. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, like briefly speak on that. Like, you know, genuine energy versus people. It's like how to know when is the right time to do that without coming off as if, you know, it's like you want to get in there, but it's like you don't want to, you know, seem as if like I'm a genuine person, right? But let's say the first time we met, I'm like, hey, would you like to buy a mug? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, for what? What is it about? Like, I don't know you. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah. So okay, so
but I'm genuine. It's like I do great stuff, but like you have no idea what I do.
No, I get it. So
yeah.
Okay.
I know.
So no, I get it, right? I got a perfect example. So I used to DJ, okay?
Yeah.
In New York, I used to DJ. And I used to be privileged to work in the 4040 Club, right? And if you don't know what the 4040 Club is, Jay-Z's club in New York City. It's like a really big club, right? Wow. All kind of celebrities come in there. They do all kind of stuff, right? And I was in there. I didn't have like a regular get in there, but every so often I would come and be a guest DJ. And there were several times I got to go in there. And like one of my first times in there, there was a certain artist. I'm not going to name the artist, but the artist came in after the artist was in there for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds. Come straight to the booth, play my record. I'm mixing, but okay, sure. And then you start playing, right? Fast forward, the next time I'm there, I get another artist, Dead Mouse. Excuse me. Yeah, it was Dead Mouse, because he had a remix off of a Jay-Z song. I want to say it was Jigga What, Jigga Who, right? And he comes into the booth and he's like, hey, how are you? Hey, I have some friends here who haven't had the chance to hear my newest song. Do you have it? And I was like, yeah, I got it. He's like, oh, when you get a chance, can you mix it in so they can hear it? I was like, yo, I'll shut it down right now and play it right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the difference of like people's attitudes and which I know like that's kind of like a more generalized thing, but I know like in New York, there was multiple different situations that I had to go and present myself. And it's kind of the same thing. When you go in all extra cocky, like, yeah, I'm here. What up? People can see right through that immediately. But if you go in with more of a, I'm not going to say modest, I'm not even going to say humble, but if you just go in, you're confident, but you're respecting everybody, that's the difference. If that makes sense.
Yes.
In my opinion.
That's the difference I saw. The second gentleman, he was respectful, not just bossing you around. You know, it's like when you get time, because you're not going to disrupt what you're already doing. It's like, hey, if you have time, you know, not that feeling like they have, you know, as if you're inferior.
Yeah, exactly.
Inferiority.
Right. And again, I've got to work with a lot of different people who had that inferiority. I can't even say the word.
Yeah, I know.
Right. But they've had those kind of issues, and it just makes it for a very horrible, toxic atmosphere. Again, back in the corporate world, I used to work with a lot of clinicians, medical people, and there are a lot of doctors who have that kind of mentality. And the only way they justify it is that, so like a surgeon can't have room for doubt. They have to have the absolute mind that whatever they do It's going to be correct. It's the way to go. There's no doubt in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
However, that gives a lot of them this jock mentality, this toxic jock mentality, or this very nasty attitude. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And luckily, I've also been privileged to be around some of the ones that were like, that had very cool, calm demeanors, and you wouldn't have known they were surgeons. They're just cool people, and they were great surgeons, top of the field, but they just had cool mentalities. So yeah.
So when I go into my profession, I'm still gonna be me, and no one will know. Oh, Pratika, she's this. It's like, yeah, you're not gonna know until I tell you so.
Right?
Anyway.
Exactly.
So fun. So I want to ask you now, what do you want to share, like what you're working on now? Like, I know you're working on your book, but I know we had spoke before when we had our call, and it's like when I asked you what your dream was, do you want to talk more about that?
So, I have a lot of dreams, to be honest.
Right.
I really do. Like, I wish I could turn my camera around now, but like, I have a vision board that's right in front of me, but I have a lot of dreams. But what's my biggest dream right now? I think would probably be just, my biggest dream right now would just be to have my podcast syndicated on television and just have my face everywhere. That would be my dream right now. And not because like I want my face everywhere, which I do want my face everywhere, but I want to be of service. I know, right? I just want to be of service to everybody. And I feel that the show that I'm doing with Trish is going to do that. It's going to fill that gap. Like, some of my mentors are James Baldwin, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, all those people. And I feel like they left such a legacy that still needs to be done, but it has to be done correctly. I think there's a lot of people out here, white, black, Asian, whatever, who are stirring the pot. And for me, I just want to help people come together and lift each other up. And I feel like there isn't a lot of voices like doing that. I feel you are, a couple other of our close friends are, and I just want my show to be one of those voices that can help elevate the culture. So, yeah.
Yes. And Miss Beverly said, yes, yes, yes. And you know, it's interesting because I bought James Baldwin's book. It is in Target, when they're doing Black Lives Matter, I believe, or so. So I have it. And I even had it with me, Georgia. Like, I brought it with me everywhere. I've yet to read it, but I did start watching his Netflix documentary and his videos on YouTube. Wow, what a fine man. Like, I didn't know about him. Like, I heard his name, but I didn't like check out his content. I'm like, wow, like he's not heard of more, Yeah,
I'm very surprised. Like, once you start learning and reading about James, I'm saying James like I like know him,
right?
James Baldwin, like he's just
he feels like
one underestimated person. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's a poet, writer. He's such a brilliant mind, and I heard about him years ago, and I think my favorite quote of his that I think really helped me gravitate towards him was, "I can't believe what you say because I see what you do." And I know, right? And to this day, that is just something I'm just like, yo.
I need to hit that up for like romantic relationships.
Exactly. But see, it works for everything. Once I heard that quote, I was like, that is so true. So now it's to the point now where I'll listen to what people say, I'll hear it, but I watch their behavior. And once that behavior contradicts what they're saying, your boy is out. I'm like, okay.
I'm the same way. And we talked about that. We discussed people we've come across, and it's like, you say this, you're doing this, and it's like, you don't align with me. I'm authentic, and obviously you're not. And I don't have a problem calling you out. So,
if you don't mind, like, let's clarify for a second, because like there is a lot of times people say, well, if they don't align with me, there's a good not aligning, and there's a bad not aligning, right? So a lot of times people don't align with me just because they have different perspectives, like they have different beliefs, and that's great. That's fine. And I don't hate that person. It's just different values. However, there are other people that don't align with me because they're toxic or they're trying to make me jealous. Like, there's all that other kind of, and you got to know the difference.
Wow, I like that you brought that up, and it's intention to what's your intent with me.
Yeah,
especially those people. One more time, I'm gonna say it as I always do. who slide in my DMs with your pitches and your offers, and you slide back the fuck out because Khatiba's like, don't pitch me, motherfucker.
Yeah, I gotta say, I am so glad I'm a man because, like,
please go away
from you. A lot of other females in my life, I hear the stories about all these sad men giving all kind of promises, and women like it's just.
Also will you marry me? I love you. Oh my god, from India. Like,
I don't know how, ladies. I don't know how you do it. I don't. I respect you. I just don't know how you do it.
And it's like, ew, look at you. Like,
I gotta say, me personally, I would put any man that came in my DM disrespectfully, I put him on blast 100%. I would go ahead and screenshot the whole conversation.
I do. I started to do that. I started to put people who pitch without pure intentions. I shared about mental health with someone. They wanted to know what I was creating, what I'm doing, what I do, and boom, there goes. And once I said no to their offer, they blocked me. It's like, that was your intention for me to join whatever you got going on. If I don't, it's like, that's bad business. So now I'm like, there you go, Miss Kristen Dunn. Post it right there. Right. Shout you out. Like, don't hit up my DMs if you're not a genuine person. Just don't talk to me because you're a pest to me. So please go away.
I've had
like, it's annoying.
On that front, I've had some people too who have come to me with an offer of all glitz and glamour, and then
they don't even know what you do, and they don't support you. Like, I don't see, like you mentioned that, and it's like, I don't see you supporting me. Like, you have never said like, hey, can I do something to help? Or like, genuinely, it's like, if you're not willing to give, don't ask something of me if you don't give first. Like, you need to purely give. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Without expectation that, you're going to receive something back. And a lot of people have not come to that yet. So
yeah, it's sad because everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people out there, when they're trying to get successful or whatever, however they define it, they're all about help me. And it's like, I understand the logic. However, you got it twisted. You got to be helping people. You got to bring that service. You got to be the one that is showing that you are of value. Don't make it seem like I have to know automatically and just put you out. Like, no, it don't work that way.
No.
So
I'm just so glad.
And it's funny because I realized that once I started putting information onto my page that people can use that was tangible, and when I started not expecting anything in return, that's when I started seeing my numbers grow. That's when I started seeing the evolution of people saying, you know what, he might have something to say. Let me go talk to him.
Wow.
That's when that started happening.
Do you know about Mr. Ken Honda, the book Happy Money?
No, I've never heard that one.
He's from Japan. So Michael Bridgman, shout out Michael, and Momentum, Michael software that I came out with. I'm gonna send this to him. Now he gotta watch it. So Ken Honda, like he's in the finance. So like, you know, and he's worked with how do you pronounce his name? Wahi Takeda or something. He was like he was the Warren Buffett of Japan. He's died now. Anyway, Ken Honda put together like this long report, like pages of report, and he started giving out information to people for free. They started asking him about finances and to not be in debt, how to arigato, meaning like say thank you to money. Like, so not to be, you know, negative thinking when you release the money, but like say arigato, which means thank you in Japanese, when you release it, knowing that it's going to return back to you. And to actually, and you should watch, he has a free for Mind Valley, like he was on there as a free webinar too. So you can get that when you Google. And his class I haven't taken, it's like 300 something, but the whole point of it is to touch your money. Now everything's digital. Now, even for banks, it's about to go like, I think 100% or so. So it's like, but before, I believe, Mr. Takeda, the Warren Buffett of Japan, he went into the bank. Yeah, this is his story, I believe. He went into the bank and he wanted to pay his like phone bill or something. He told him to take the money out of the account. He wanted to feel it, and then he wanted to go pay it. Like literally all those manual steps. But that really helped his mindset, so he could feel the money, know its energy, know its worth. Okay, now arigato. Like I'm giving it back to you. Now pay my bill. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah. I understand that.
I only have $5 here. I don't got nothing.
Well, no, I understand because like people don't realize that there is a science.
Feel it.
that comes into how do I say this? That comes into the flow of you doing things. And a lot of big businesses know this. So if they can make the transition smoother of your money going into their pockets, the better off they are. So a lot of this stuff is not tangible anymore. As you're saying, like money is starting to go is transforming into electric. We don't even really buy DVDs or CDs, VHSs anymore, right? Like all that stuff gets streamed. Our TV pro, like all this stuff, like so, and like it's insidious the way they do it though. Like it's like you just can't have stuff anymore. But one of the reasons why I give away information for free is like there's 3 reasons. The first reason is because like I truly do want to be of service. I really do. I want to help people as much as possible. The second reason is that more often than not, I'm in a position where sometimes people ask me for it, so I give it, and I like to talk. The third reason is that a lot of times you can give as much free information as you like. People are still aren't going to do anything with it. They'll be like, "Oh, yo, I love that. That's a great idea. I'm gonna go use that." Don't do anything with it.
They don't apply it.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of free webinars, free master classes, free. It's great, and it's to follow up to the next step where you do purchase most times. Right. But it's like there's so much free that people don't even want to take the free because it's so saturated. You know, I feel now it's like I only do from like my own friends and people that I trust and like who I've built relationship with, not just someone that is just popping into a DM. Like I just don't go. That's not how I flow. So
yeah, definitely. Like so like if I get a DM from someone that I have no clue about, I tend to ignore it a lot of times unless I can see that like it's
too, but I'm just so personable. I'm like
like I mean like I've been privileged enough to be able to get certain type of promotions or influencer kind of things. And so I noticed like if it's a brand, I'll check it out. But if it's like a person, delete a lot of times without even reading it, just because like I don't have the time. Now, if that person was smart enough to check out my page, like you were saying earlier, and they like and they comment with me for like at the very least just like a whole day or so, and then hit me up, then I'm like, okay, at least I know you took the time to figure out who I am before you try to offer me something.
That's right.
Then I'll look at it.
Oh my Lord. The times when I would get comments and DMs like, so what do you do? It says right here, Prati Bidet, founder of Try Together. Like in your bio, like if you click the Facebook, Try Together, we showcase mental health journeys. It says right here. So it's like, I'm like, go look at my bio. Like that's my answer. I'm not harsh, baby. You don't care to know about me and look at what I do. So it's like I don't have to tell you.
I gotta admit, I feel bad for anyone who comes at you sideways because I know how blunt you are. So I have a feeling there's some hurt feelings in a lot of different places. I'm not that blunt. I'll just cut it off and won't comment or won't nothing. But you, I already know. So,
What? Would you say that I hurt feelings?
Like, you hurt feelings.
They'd be surprised. Like, wow, you're so direct. It's like, no shit. What do you expect? I don't fucking know you.
And it's not intentional. It's just like it's just the way you talk. Like you're just a very straightforward person. It's just I am,
and it catches them off guard. They're like, wow, because people are usually like tiptoeing, like, oh hi, how are you? Like all of a sudden, I'm just like, I'm sorry, how are we connected?
Well, no, but here's the thing. Like, so I remember one of the first time, like when me and you first started like becoming friends.
Yeah, what did I say?
No, like, it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a big thing. But I remember I accidentally misspelled your name, right?
Oh yeah,
I misspelled your name. And see, funny thing, it wasn't me. I promise you, it was a typo. I swear to God, it was a typo, right? But like in the very next text, you were like, "It's Pratiba."
That's right.
That was it.
To fucking everybody. There may be a few people I dismiss, but it'd be on my mind. I never told them how to spell my name correctly. I am fierce and Beverly. I'm unapologetically me, thanks to Kristen Brooke and her assessment for Eric Thomas. And she told me, be more of me. It's like, I don't have to lower myself because it's like, I always double check people's names, like out of respect. It's very important to me to spell someone's name properly, even if it's typo. It's like I correct like I actually take the time to do that, especially in emails. I feel like someone can't say you're on purpose because you don't like me or something, or you have some kind of angst that like you're just like, whatever, I don't care, I'm just gonna send it to her this way anyway. It's like, no, that don't work for me because I will let you know, even if it's like a letter. Like Yeah, but so that's how you know, like I'm like not having
it. Well, like at the first, like luckily, like I've gotten really good at checking my own ego.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, first of all, I'm the kind of person like I'll write something out. I'll write something out and I'll just send it without even thinking about spell check or making sure it's correct, right?
But I always just let them know. I'm like, it's spelled Katiba.
So when you did that, I can't lie. The ego part of me was like, who the hell does she like? Are you serious right now? but then Mr. Positivity, he got on, he was like, you know what? She's right. That's how her name is spelled. Spell her name correctly. And from now on, I have yet to spell your name incorrectly.
I know, right? This recently happened with Miss Michelle Hardy when in our Hunger for the Hustle book, like she had misspelled, and I said, even if it's in a group or something, it's not personal. It's just that spell my name right, period. It's because I've learned about myself, like through therapy and boundaries and respect for myself, and I value myself. And I just feel like, no, it's my name. It's it's unique. Doesn't give you an excuse or something. Not for you in general. Like you don't take the time, to correctly check it. Even if it's unique and you're going to spell it wrong, you're not sure. You should take a look. You know
I know exactly what you mean, because it's like you were saying,
that's being disrespectful. You don't care. You're being lazy. It's like that's not okay, because that can take you far. Like I could be a client.
It's like don't lower yourself to meet their expectations. No, stay where you are, so they will rise to meet yours. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I do. You know how I am. I don't take bullshit. So
what's that?
I loved having you on. This is so fun.
Yeah, I know, right?
Tell them where they can find you and like what you're up to.
Well, no, you were like tell them. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. So I'm gonna tell them. So everyone, you can find me on Instagram. Wait, what'd you say?
Jesus.
Yo, you can find me on
Jesus.
Instagram, Twitter. I'm not really on Facebook much, but I'm there. TikTok is kind of where I'm living now. I'm actually on an app called Fanbase as well. But everywhere I am finding J Reace.
Wow. Wow. So, but you are not a coach. Let's clarify that, right?
Correct. I am not a coach.
Thank God.
I've toyed with that idea, but I am not a coach. Don't get me wrong. I am more than happy to do my best to help people and give people assistance, but I'm not a guru. I'm not a coach. I'm not even trying to fill those roles. I actually just finished reading Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. Shetty. I like the book. I'm not a real fan of how he wrote it, but I love all the wisdom that he gives in it.
It's a lot.
But one of the things about it though is that like in the book he has a quiz in the back, and I took the quiz, and
really?
I did. It has a quiz in the back, and
no, mine's on Audible. I didn't get no quiz. Oh, maybe in the email they sent it, like additional.
Maybe I don't know. Like in the hard cover of the book. There's a quiz, and the quiz like you have to pick like certain things, and he tells you who you are according to I'm gonna missay it. Bhagavad? How do you say it, Pratibha?
Bhagwan? What? Bhagavad Gita?
Yes. Yes.
Shout out to being South Asian motherfuckers.
But
made in India. Yeah.
But it comes to find out that according to his test, I am supposed to be a guide.
You are a guide.
So I'm like, okay, sure, all right. But I'm not a coach. I wouldn't claim to be. For a while, I was thinking about being life coaching, but no, I am not.
Thank you for being something different. Shit. Andrew Clark wants to know what's your name on TikTok, and Miss Beverly wants to know your Twitter name.
Oh, it's Finding J Reace. Everywhere I'm finding J Reace.
Finding J Reace. Let me type it in.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just Finding J Reace because he's lost.
Exactly.
Are you really?
I always tell my kids and my wife the best way to find yourself is to get lost. So that's just where I work.
Wow, I like that. That's a whole nother topic we would have to discuss another time about
I know, right?
Finding yourself, or like people who spend their whole life looking to find themselves and then die. Like like purpose. Like it's like, do you need to have a purpose? And like Buddhism, spirituality, it's like all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, people like have this hovering over them. It's like you could just live your life, like, you know.
Yeah.
So,
the short answer is, for a while I believed that I needed a purpose, but I'm at the point now where I realize that the only way you can go through life is looking backwards to connect the dots. And I realize I won't figure out my purpose until I'm all the way at the end of my life. So I'm not worrying about it. I'm just doing me. But that's just me.
I love it.
So,
I love it. Do you follow Buddhism? Last question. Do you read about Buddhism and books?
I read about Buddhism. I find that I gravitate toward more monk philosophies. Just my ideology and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm slowly turning into an omniism. I feel like I'm starting to believe that there is truth in all religions and not one correct religion.
Right.
But that's what I'm following.
Yeah, take something from each. Yeah. Anyway, wow. We were almost at an hour. This is so fun. At first I was like, 20 minutes. And then next thing you know. So.
Well, hello, you got Mr. Positivity on here. I'm always fun. Hey.
Well, you know, we're so funny. Thanks everyone for joining today. This is so much fun, right? When you have your friends on compared to people who are not as open.
I'm not gonna. I hate people who when they invite themselves over. But I'm gonna invite myself. I'm coming back. I don't know when, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Yes.
Hopefully before I start school, because just FYI for those who don't know, get in on the lives now because I'm prioritizing my career next. So you know what, baby. So I don't know. I gotta go. I need to go. What the fuck am I saying? This is so fun. I love it. Thanks, Jay.
Oh, anytime. See you.